works? No. The worst part about rude customers is that you can't say anything despite if they're wrong or not. The customer is not always right, and the person who coined that famous phrase was very wrong, and probably it was also a customer. I think if you're mean to retail workers, they get to yell back at you. Or at the very least, you get to tell them that they're mean and make them leave. You're mean! I've only ever encountered these kinds of people at work, and I've never seen them in the wild. But if I did, and I didn't have to keep my mouth shut because I didn't work there, then I'd go right up to them and say, "You're mean!" Anyway. Then there was this other time when this guy tried to ship drugs. That day was particularly slow. Nobody was coming in, and it was just me and my coworker, Tony. Tony and I got along really well, because neither of us like to work. I want to go home. Me too. At one point, a guy comes in to buy just a single box. Simple, easy, he's in and out in a jiffy. But 5 minutes later, he comes back in, same box, but now something's packed up inside it. I saw the box and how he packed it, and he did the thing where he kind of fold the flaps on top of each other, which is a problem because then it just falls out if it's not taped. Can I get a description of what's in this box? It's private. I mean, we just need a general description, like, is it food, perishable? It's microchips. Okay. Microchips. Now, because the box wasn't properly taped, Tony came over and was going to tape it up for me while I was helping him on the computer. But the guy stops Tony. I just need to retape the box really quick so it doesn't come out during shipment. The tape's free if that's what you're worried about. Okay. He timidly allows us to do that, which I don't really know what his end game was because we opened the box and there was weed. Sir, we can't ship this. I'm no expert on illegal trade of illicit goods, but I know a thing or two about shipping, and I know that drugs, you can't do that one. That's on the no-go zone. We opened the box because we needed to redo the flaps so we could tape it properly. So if he just came in with the box taped, we wouldn't have known what he was shipping. There's no x-ray machine at the UPS store to see what's inside the box.
Creative mode.
The only missing component here was tape. More than anything, the situation just was awkward. Okay. That's, sorry. I want to go home. Me too. Here's some advice. If you want to ship drugs, don't. Then there's this other time where this guy tried to overnight a misshapen magazine. This time I was working alone. It was a night shift. It's dark out. And this guy comes in holding a magazine. "Hello, sir. I can help you at this register." Oh, he's just getting an envelope. Probably to ship that magazine. Is he packing it up back there? Is he trying to hide something from me? Weird. I want to go home. I like to ship this next day air, please. When you ship like a piece of paper next day air, UPS has this special envelope that makes it cheaper. And I saw that he's trying to do that. So I talked to him about it. Oh, actually, we have these special envelopes that cut you a deal, so it's cheaper to ship next day air. At first, he was hesitant about that, which is definitely a red flag, because it was like $100 cheaper to ship through the special envelope. And why wouldn't you do that? You could spend $100 on buying, like, I don't know, Five Guys. That's a lot of Five Guys. Five Guys good. But still, nobody would pass that up. So it was weird that he hesitated. I eventually talked him into it because I think he was like catching on that I was catching on that he was being suspicious. So I started typing in the information for him, and he started to move the magazine from the envelope he picked up already to the other envelope that I offered him. And while he was doing this, I saw that it had a big weird lump in it. So that's another red flag. 2 for 2, baby. Why was the magazine bulgy? Is he shipping drugs?
Keep watching it. I thought you were going to change it.
Oh my god, this is like $1,000. Who is he sending this to? What if it's the mob? Well, now I have my fingerprints on it. And then I sent it off. I don't want to get involved with the mob or whoever that was. I was 16, alone in this store at night, and not paid enough for it to be my problem. I guess now that I'm on the topic of illicit substance distribution, there was this other guy. He would always come into the store and be like, "Hey, I shipped a box to your store. And it's big." And we'd be like, "Oh, is this the one?" "Yeah, that's the one." Of all the other customers, this guy was very easy to deal with and really charming. But one day, a couple of other customers came in and they're like, "Hello, we're the police." They asked to see the manager and they talked to him, and then a couple days later that guy picked up a box and then was arrested in the parking lot. Turns out he was importing a lot of opium. I think it was around this time that I realized I miscalculated when I passed up all those food service jobs. But then again, is any retail job good enough? I don't know. I better would have had a better time at Five Guys. Stop eating the french fries. Anyway, hindsight's 2020. Other stuff that happened. One dude asked me if the narwhal bacon's at midnight, which was very cringe, and trust me, I know, cringe. A bunch of cheerleaders burst into the store, cheered, ran in a circle, and then left. We suspect they were just trying to cause a
Ship
commotion
the
while their friends
cheer.
would steal
Ship
things,
the
but then
cheer.
realized there was nothing interesting to steal at a UPS store, and then went away. There was a guy that would often come in and try to ship bath salts, which... Again, I'm not paid enough for that. A man wanted me to send faxes, and then when I told him the number wasn't working, he shook the paper in my face and yelled, "Fax! It's not working. Fax!" Another dude wanted me to help him with his email because the government was hacking his email. There's a guy that would come in a lot and tell us about word
About the
affirmation,
same
but thought that
pattern.
it was literally magic and not just a self-motivator, and told us that the sounds in our voices affected atoms and quarks on the quantum level and would make things a reality. For example, like if you just said, "I have a juicy booty, I have a juicy booty, I have a juicy booty," then it would be true. There was always the classic handful of people that would knock on the door after we were closed and ask if we were open. "Are you guys open?" No. And that's all that I can think about. If you subscribe, I will throw this box, help me, into a volcano. Thank you, Villa, for helping me animate this video. And that's everything. Now I'm gonna play myself out. Have you ever had a bad teacher? Like a really bad teacher? Can I go to the bathroom? Okay, geez. Now think of the worst teacher that you've ever had. And did they ever take money from you? No, I don't think that anybody... I had that happen to me once. Okay, geez. Back when I was in junior high school, I took a class about starting small businesses. In this class, we had to come up with our own business idea, build it, and then try to get people to pay for what we made with real money as a way to get education on business. Business. Buy our product. No. Buy it. No! It's getting away! Business. I really wanted to learn business, so I thought this was a great idea for a class. The only downside to this class was that money was involved. Real money. Yeah, that's real. And when real money's involved, people stop playing fair. The class got divided into 3 groups of 5. One team decided to sell cool fancy pens, another group made screen-printed t-shirts, and our group made magnets. Our team was the best one, not to brag, but I mean that. We had a fantastic production line, we had solid profit margins, we even had a role for everyone. There was the math guy to figure out the numbers, people to make the magnets, we had distributors to sell the magnets. You want some magnets? And me, the artist. And I still have them. Ooh, look how cool they are. And faded with time. Oh, so nice. All I'm trying to say is that we put in the work. All of the money that we made was earned. After the whole class was done, we had made $150 total in profit, which was the most money in the class. Better than the pens, better than the t-shirts. We were really proud of ourselves. So this business class was located in the wood shop directly across the hallway from a different shop class. Why is this important for me to bring up? Great question that I pretended you asked. That classroom had a bunch of equipment and stuff in it that allowed us to make the products for the business class. And somehow, I don't know how this happened, the teacher from that other shop class heard about the money that we had made. We were called into her classroom and she asked what we made for our business. Magnets? Did you use the equipment from this room? Yeah, our teacher said that we could use school equipment to make our business. Well, actually, there's a school fee for using school resources. And since you guys used school resources, you'll have to pay the fee. And then she charged us money. She wasn't even our teacher, and she made us cough up an additional $50 of our hard-earned money just because of a made-up rule. I can make up rules too. There's a 200% fine for being a jerk to me. You know how in art class you have to pay like $75 for the paint and the canvas or whatever? That was the excuse to take the money. The thing is, we did use tools from her shop room, but you know what tools that we used to make the magnets?
Here
A
overnight
paper cutter.
accidentally.
Is that worth $50, do you think? You tell me. We couldn't do anything about it because she was a teacher, and all we were just a bunch of lowly students with no power and a bunch of cool magnets. In the end, we walked away with about $20 per person. $20 isn't nothing. It's like a Chipotle. One Chipotle. I'm happy with the money that we earned, but she totally lied and pocketed that money. You know, this gives me a great business idea. Step 1, become a teacher. Step 2.
By the way, Mom,
So yeah, that was not a good teacher. But what can you do?
please don't
You can eat your
invite
feelings.
Luke.
Can I have some? No. Go get your own. The worst part is, despite the class, I'm still bad at business. Before the next bad teacher story, I have good news. Very good news. The ice cream sandwich plush is back and he's bigger than ever. Literally. This time around, he's bigger and fluffier, and he's even passed the bar exam. Battery is legally defined as when the victim is aware of the oncoming attacker. It sure is, buddy. It's an amazing pillow. It's an amazing snuggle buddy. It can even do this. go to this website to pre-order now. Pre-orders will be up for a while, but once we move into production, they're gonna be closed. So if you want it, I'd go get it now. More details on production and shipping are on the website. Be sure to get yours today. Thank you, Lee, for sponsoring this video. You're welcome. This other time in junior high school, me and my friend Lance were sitting together at lunch. While we were hanging out, we just were messing with each other, which is a thing friends do. That's normal. We were just having fun. But then a teacher looked over and saw me holding Lance's Gator.
This is what 100 marbles look like when they're arranged into a basic image. It's a smiley face, okay? And obviously on a 10 by 10 pixel grid, you don't have a lot of resolution to work with. But I love the way these images look. So I'm thinking a 32 by 32 pixel grid would give me plenty of resolution to work with. But there's absolutely no way I'm gonna arrange those manually, which is why I'm going to engineer. I'm already losing my marbles. I'm going to engineer and build a machine to do it for me. How hard could it be? All I'm gonna need is thousands of marbles. Let's go with 8 different colors. I'm gonna need a big screen for the marbles. I need a way to lift the marbles up to the top of the machine. I need a way to automatically distribute the exact colors and the exact quantities into the screen. A way to automatically dump marbles out of the bottom. And finally, I need a way to sort the marbles into their distinctive colors so the whole process can be repeated over and over. Okay, yeah, sounds like it's actually gonna be kind of hard. But there's no turning back now because I've already acquired over 7,000 marbles. So I guess first things first, let's just figure out how to automatically sort these marbles and we'll go from there. It all starts with this color sensor, which spits out an RGB value depending on what color it sees. I have to first code in the color values for each marble color. Then when any pre-programmed marble color comes into the sensor's view, I could use something called Euclidean color distance, which is basically just math for what color is it, and it spits out the current marble's color. Now that I have a way to detect colors, let's figure out how to do the sorting. So I settled on this design, where the sorting paddles are connected directly to the DC motors. This wheel lifts the marbles one by one, pausing momentarily to give the sensors a chance to read the color. Then the ball drops down and the paddles move just in time to direct the balls into the right
You're
lanes.
bad at noticing things.
Quick side note, I did test the idea of trying to detect the color as the ball runs past the sensor, but it wasn't very accurate. As you can see, this prototype actually works pretty well, but I wasn't quite satisfied. As I sped up the lift wheel, the pausing would cause the balls to wiggle, which would then throw off the sensor. On top of that, because the wheel is currently driven by a stepper motor without any feedback, if the wheel loses its indexing, the entire machine stops working. I could add some feedback, maybe a magnet and a Hall effect sensor, but instead I decided to switch to this concept where the ball drops in front of the sensor. This way I can be sure that the ball is in the exact right spot every time, and we can worry about the lifting mechanism later. Now I can control the release of the marble using this solenoid, which ejects the ball into the sorting mechanism and allows the next marble to drop in. And speaking of sorting mechanisms, this current design uses 3 motors to sort the 4 different colors that I have here. If I want to sort the 8 colors that I have planned, I would need 7 motors and 7 of these controllers to be able to control the motors backwards and forwards. And then on top of that, I'm planning to have 2 of these sorting systems. So I would actually need 14 motors and 14 controllers. If you're asking me, this mechanical engineer over here, that sounds like a huge nightmare of wiring and control and electronics, which I would love to avoid. Which is why I'm going to test a version of this that uses a single servo motor that requires only a single wire to control. At first, I dismissed the servo-driven design because I didn't think that it would be fast enough. But on second thought, if I gear the servo even just by 2 to 1, it would be a lot faster. And as you can see, it works pretty well. And with its capability to handle 2 balls per second, which means that it can sort its entire 512 balls in under 5 minutes, I would say that it's more than fast enough. The fact that this thing works has just saved me so much time and money even with electronics, but you might be wondering, can't this just be used to put the marbles into the grid in the first place? You would just take the marbles that dump out of the grid, pipe them up to the top, and as you're detecting the colors, you could just drop them into the grid in whatever pattern you'd like. The main goal is to actually make this thing look as cool as possible. If it's just doing this for 1,024 marbles, I feel like this will get a little bit boring to watch. But if there's 2 things going on at the same time, it creates a more visual experience watching this machine in action. So with that being said, let's keep going. And next up, the balls are gonna need a bin to land in once they've been sorted. But this isn't gonna be just any regular bin. The bins are also going to be responsible for pumping the balls up to the top of the frame and then dropping them in exact quantities as needed. My first concept is a paddle wheel that would hopefully work to simultaneously prevent balls from jamming while also distributing them. As you can see, the balls have a tendency to jam in the paddle wheel like this, or if they're not jamming, they're just stacking up like this. So